live on YouTube. Yep, live on Rumble. Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to I'm Okay.
You're Okay.
Okay, we're supposed to be doing that together.
That's right.
Remember?
Sorry. Try it again.
Welcome to
I'm Okay,
You're Okay. Yeah. There's even a reconnection thing it looked like for Rumble there. Anyway, yeah, what's the show about?
It's about disagreeing on different topics.
Well, not necessarily disagreeing.
Well, you can disagree, but still, I'm okay, you're okay.
Yes. I mean, yeah, no, like, agreeing, disagreeing, like, now, the whole premise is to, like, maybe have different viewpoints, maybe disagree, not necessarily to disagree, but ultimately, the point is to respect each other's opinions, and at the end of the day, I'm okay, you're okay, we're all in this together, we're gonna make it, So anyway, today is Saturn's Day, aka Saturday. No, it's Sun's Day. It's Sunday.
There you go.
Yeah, Sun's Day, aka Sunday. August 2nd, 2026. Now, do you even know where the namesake of this month comes from?
I don't, but I'll just say you're probably wrong.
Well, Emperor Augustus of Rome.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And we all know July comes from Julius Caesar, as well as the Julian calendar, later superseded by the Gregorian calendar, who was a pope, Pope Gregory or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the calendar that we still use to this day, mostly worldwide. There's still, of course, the Chinese calendar, there's a Jewish calendar, Japanese calendar. Everybody has their own calendars.
Middle East, the Saudis have a different calendar.
Yeah, but as far as to work as a global unit, as far as society-wise, we need to have things that we all uniformly agree on, which is dates, times, measurements. Not necessarily, although, because the United States and North Korea are the only two nations that still primarily use the imperial system, but everybody else uses metric. So we're on the outliers on that regard, at least. So, but anyway, enough of my ramblings around stupid little technicalities. Let's get into the articles today. So I want to revisit a previous topic.
Okay.
Now, we had an episode a while ago, and we didn't really have much stuff, so we utilized some of my food ideas, and we had a debate, is it a taco or a hot dog? And I even had diagrams and everything, tacos and hot dogs, they're both in this, they both have that, blah, blah, blah. But, and right there, I have a picture right there of hot dogs in the taco.
Oh, okay.
That's a taco shell right there, one of those flat bottom ones. But I was having this discussion since then in the Discord server, and they're like, what about gyros, gyros? Gyros, yeah. And those are, the same thing. They're meat and a flatbread wrapped around in a U shape with toppings and everything.
Yeah,
so
true.
Now, technically, historically, Greece was around long before Mexico or the United States.
That's true.
So technically, hot dogs and tacos are both gyros. Because they came first by thousands of years.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
But it's the same in general purpose. You have a flatbread, meat toppings, wrap it in a U. Is that not a hot dog, a taco, a gyro? It's the same thing, presentation-wise. Might be different meat, might be different toppings, but you don't say a pepperoni pizza is not a pizza because it's not a supreme pizza.
So
they're both pizzas.
Saying a hot dog and a taco should be a gyro?
Well, they're both of the gyro genus. The family tree,
I don't give a shit where they came from.
Well, you only give a shit where they go.
That's right. Oh, man.
Well, to me, this is my technicality. You know what that means.
Go. Yeah, here we go.
To me. But no, I always said, a hot dog is a taco. But now, no, the gyro superseded the taco, so hot dogs and tacos are gyros. And that's my argument.
Oh, God.
I don't see you coming up with anything to talk about on this show. That was your idea. I'm trying to do stuff here. What are you expecting from me? Come on. Coming from me.
Look, they're not related, other than they're both folded. A sandwich doesn't count because you're not folding it. You're putting two pieces together.
But they're all sandwiches, are they not?
No.
Yes.
A dog isn't a sandwich.
Yes, it actually technically is. A hot dog is a sandwich.
Actually be
classification.
No, it's one piece.
Legal.
A sandwich needs 2 pieces.
Well, no. On a legal.
No. 2 pieces.
No,
Have you ever had a sandwich in one side?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying on a legal precedent. No, seriously, no. This is serious.
Oh, sure it is. Go ahead.
No. Hold on. I'll look it up right here.
Oh God, we gotta look something up.
Food theory. Pizza, hot dog. Let's see if I can find it. What makes a sandwich a sandwich? Okay, no, I'm dead serious.
Okay.
In law, in our actual law, and this dictates where restaurants can go depending on what they serve primarily or as their, as an option or something. But you cannot have like a Del Taco right next to a Little Caesars. You can have a Del Taco next to a no. By law, because of classification of the goods that they serve, by law, a pizza is considered an open-faced sandwich. Tacos are considered a sandwich. Hot dogs are considered a sandwich. Obviously, sandwiches, Subway and all that stuff, those are sandwiches, obviously. But no, because of these legal classifications and stipulations and whatnot in actual law and litigation, this dictates what can if there's a sandwich shop here, then for the next 2 or 3 storefronts there cannot be another sandwich shop because of immediate neighboring eating each other's customer base. Like there's actual laws around this.
There isn't.
Yes, there is.
No.
Yes,
then what
there
happened
is.
in a food court in the mall? I mean, they're all together. Boom, boom, boom. There they are.
They're all owned by the same company.
No,
Yes.
they're franchised out.
But their parent company, the corporation, owns the IP, the intellectual property.
Yeah, but they're renting it out to the franchisee. The mall's renting that space out.
Through contracts with the host company.
Yes, of course.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So I don't.
Franchise or not, like in a food court, I believe every one of those, it might not be, I might be full of shit with this, but it makes sense to me that in a food court, not every food court, just if you go to any food court, all the restaurants there ultimately are owned by the same parent corporation. Like how McDonald's owns this and that and this and that and this and that, and Burger King owns this and that and this and that. I was going to bring this up earlier. What's it called? Del Taco and Pizza Hut are both owned by the same parent corporation.
Okay.
So they could be next to each other. But a Domino's cannot be next to a Del Taco in the same way because they're not owned by the same parent corporation. Ultimately, they are.
Mistaken.
Yes, no, I'm telling you.
You're
straight up.
squashing free enterprise. And what prevents them from being side by side is competition. They don't want to compete with something that's the same as them.
Let me
Put
play
it down
this.
the road a bit.
Let me play this right here.
Hot dogs an all-American creation? We should check to see if hot dogs meet America's own definition of a sandwich. Time to go straight to the source, the U.S. Department of Agriculture. These are guys who know their stuff when it comes to foodstuffs. According to Mark Wheeler, who works in food and safety at the USDA, quote, a sandwich is a meat or poultry filling between 2 slices of bread, a bun, or a biscuit, end quote. That definition comes from the USDA
This is legal
Food
law.
Standards and Labeling Policy Book. But that doesn't mean I'm happy about it. So, I have a couple issues with...
So something about this video gets in the nitty-gritty of all, but this is, I'm not telling you my opinion. I'm not telling you my point of view. I'm telling you of on paper, the law of the United States of America, federal government.
I heard
that's
nothing
what this
about
is.
a law. I heard...
That's USDA.
This is from the Food and... They don't make laws.
They abide by them.
Well, of course they do.
And they enforce them.
What they're doing here is defining what it is. They're not saying that it's a law.
What is this? Tax Bulletin ST-835. What is considered a sandwich?
Pitas in wraps or otherwise, and regardless of the filling or the number of layers. Now that is a pretty broad definition. That's a definition that, again, encompasses hot dogs. But here's the thing. According to the state of New York, a Chipotle burrito...
But I would suggest, because this is a 18-minute long video, and I'm going to start this underbar section, actually. So, food theory. So I'll just put that in there really quick. But no, like this is legitimately because I don't know exactly where he talks about the actual legal litigation and whatnot, but there's actual laws behind this that dictate as soon as if a brand new strip center is open and a bagel me occupies this spot, okay, well on either side of it can only be X type of business, X type of food, because there was a serious problem with a donut shop after a donut shop after a donut shop after a donut shop. Well, they're eating each other's customer base, and it's not fair practice or whatever. So there's laws behind it, behind the placement of restaurant. Yes,
and here's the difference: the mall owners who own all those properties and stalls and everything else, they're only going to allow so many donut shops, so many burger shops, because they.
I'm not talking about just malls. I'm talking about anywhere.
Okay. Well, anyways, I'm just talking about because they don't. In other words, a mall can say, or a strip center can say, okay, I only want so many hamburger stands, and then we've already got 2. That's our limit. I can't have any more. But it's not a law by government.
Yes, it is.
No, it's just not.
Yes, it is. Not for the malls. That you are.
Well, I'm just using a mall.
Yeah, you're using that
strip
as a
centers,
microcosm.
Strip centers, malls, what have you.
Yeah, whatever. But there are laws governing how far away certain competing restaurants can be from one another. Because then if they start eating each other's customer base, that starts creating problems. They start attacking each other, and then the law enforcement has to come in. So there are laws to prevent violence that dictate
violence.
Yes.
How do you
Because
extrapolate to violence?
Because if you have a burger place and another burger place opens up directly next door to it and it's not owned by the same parent corporation,
right.
They're completely at odds,
right.
Then eventually one of them is going to burn down the other. Just so that way they can stay in business.
Fold over the other, but that
and then they fold
so.
and then they kill somebody because they lost their business. So
that's a hell of an assumption.
That happens.
It can happen, but
it does happen.
To happen.
Not anymore.
Well, I'm sorry, unless you can show me some laws somewhere. I'm adamant.
I was literally just showing.
No,
them
you're
to
talking
you.
about different things that are.
So, what do you want me to do?
What you're talking about, whatever that.
Yeah, these are
government organization is does not make laws. They do not make laws.
Government organization doesn't make laws, and who does?
No, the Senate,
the FDA,
the Senate, and the executive branch make laws, and the judicial upholds them. That's all.
Well, here, let me play this part here.
On a bun, which is all we need to do to lay claim to the invention of the hot dog. When hot dogs first came onto the scene in 1860s New York, few could have appreciated the classification quagmire they'd eventually create. I mean, when you get to for all, is a hot dog a sandwich? Right off the bat, it's important to recognize it's the definition of sandwich that's so difficult to pin down here. Not joke, because there is in fact a National Sandwich Council of America. These wannabes ain't moving the needle anytime soon. The National Sandwich Council of America's Facebook profile, and yes, they have a profile as opposed to a proper branded page, has exactly 122 likes. They last posted in 2014, and to date have received 3 likes for their efforts.
And this was uploaded in 2020.
Because the world is desperate for someone in this world to seize control and expertly guide.
Okay, but he's presenting it in an entertaining way and really leading it on to make it as long as possible for maximum personal profit and all that stuff. But no, he somewhere in here he covers actual laws, that are on the books, enforced by the federal government of the United States of America. There are laws behind this. This is not an opinion. I'm telling you. You don't believe me, fine. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to argue with you whether or not there are laws. I know there are. I'm showing you them, and you're rejecting it, so I don't know
what more. You haven't shown me anything. You're showing me a government organization that is part of their job, as stupid as it is defining what a sandwich is, defining this, they're defining what foods
and from
are.
That, laws,
fine.
From that
isn't a law.
From that, laws are created.
No. Again, only the executive and the Congress makes and approves laws, not them. They're identifying what different things are. That's not a law.
The jurisprudence of sandwiches. What is this? Samuel A. Williams, The jurisprudence of sandwiches. Okay, sandwich alignment chart. 3x3 grid of hormones. Okay, what is this? I'm trying to find actual, like, okay, that's not a government. U.S. labeling law, right here.
Okay, labeling something else.
Further case law was added to U.S. labeling rules this month with an Indiana Superior Court judgment that tacos and burritos are sandwiches. This contradicts previous rulings in other states and also the USDA interpretation. In New York, burritos are considered a sandwich for tax purposes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, if it could get taxed, it's a law. You know, like there's legality behind something. You know, if you can tax it.
They've identified a burrito as a sandwich or a non-sandwich, therefore it can get taxed.
But what I'm saying is, like, if
we're getting way off topic here.
No, I'm trying to tell you if two hot dog stands that are not owned by the same parent company, they're completely they're opposite. Okay. One of the one that comes in afterward can be forcibly evicted legally by police. They can be shut down because they're not abiding by these food laws that I'm telling you about.
Absolutely cannot.
Yes, they can.
Absolutely. It's going to be survival of the fittest at that point. Now,
no.
People won't do that because they don't want to open up against the exact same thing in a different brand right next door because they're going to lose half their business.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to rewatch this video just because, but you really need to watch these videos. Like, I sent this to you a long time ago.
Okay.
So, but no, these...
To me, when I'm looking at you're extrapolating out and say, and therefore it is a law.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm not extrapolating, therefore that is law. I'm showing you as examples because somewhere, I'm not going to sit here and watch an 18-minute long video,
no.
even though we've been talking about this topic for almost 18 minutes already.
Okay, well, we've got to move on.
You know, but, like, no, I'm telling you there are laws federally involving food, specifically classifications, in order to avoid further legal issues involving rivalries in restaurants under those classifications. It's in the books. Man.
You're right, there are laws of specific foods and blah, 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 and you're taking it too far.
No.
It doesn't therefore go into they won't allow you to be next door to each other.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes, it does. Anyway, next topic here.
Mm-hmm.
If someone invents something under the employment of a company, do they have right to credit or only the company? So, like, you know, when they sign up, they might sign, you know, like a something where because he just, how things are, I don't know how things just naturally are in this vein of things, but do they, by becoming employed, do they surrender their right to claim ownership of an invention that they actually invented, that they did the brain power, they did the work, they did, you know, they had the eureka moments, but then just because they did that with the resources of someone above them, do they surrender, you know, their entirety just because they don't have, you know, the resources? I think that's kind of bullshit.
No,
like,
absolutely not.
Well, then screw the poor people then, you know?
The poor people?
Well, you know, if they can't, you know, like, cause the rich people, you know, like, you know, they're not necessarily the most brilliant and all that stuff. You know, like not everybody is in their position because of this, that, or the other and all that stuff. So, you know, you get the like you know, Nikola Tesla. Like, you know, he wasn't a rich guy.
Right.
Einstein wasn't rich, you know, until later. You know, like Einstein wasn't rich, you know, until later. Like most people who are intelligent aren't born into wealth. They start off at the bottom and then they claw their way through. Like, you know, having to go through the resources and the good graces of other people who have more means. But in doing so, are they surrendering their right to their own creation because they're using the resources of others?
Okay, a couple points here. First off, you're making some assumptions here that employer rich, employee not. That poor employer could be hanging on by a thread just to survive. You don't know. That's irrelevant.
They still own a company and the other guy doesn't. It does matter. Equity, you know. I'm not.
Now, here's the point. The employee is there specifically
to work,
paid by the company to do that work, whatever it is. That's what he's there for. That's what he's getting paid for. Therefore, the employer owns it because he's paid to come up with that. He can't always say, if he did it in his garage, well, you use knowledge from your company. No, tough crap. It's now mine because I did it separately out of work. Oh, you took your knowledge here. You could have a little bit of an argument there, but not much. But you do it at work, and they're paying you to work on that. You work on it. It's discovered. The company owns it, lock, stock, and barrel. Thank you. Maybe they'll give you a bonus. Ooh, you hope so.
See, what annoys me is I can see the validity in what you're saying, and I don't disagree with it. At the same time, that's what gave Thomas Edison his claim to fame and his power and his wealth, is because he owned the company, he had underlings who made these breakthroughs. He didn't personally invent the incandescent light bulb, but he took credit because he owned the company.
Yeah.
And then now, historically, he's credited as the actual inventor, whereas some schmuck will never know the actual name of, he was a real inventor, and now he's lost to history, and that's kind of bullshit.
Well, yeah, I understand your empathy, and you'd like to know who was the guy coming up with it, and it was probably a group of people working for
Maybe.
one employer, including Edison. He was probably had a hand in it. Tesla maybe had a hand into it, and whoever.
No, Tesla was after.
Tesla came after the light
Tesla
bulb?
came after, yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, the fact that he worked for Edison at all.
Yeah.
Anyways, still, the employer picked up the tab, paid everybody to work on that.
Well,
therefore, he owns it.
So, well, how about
not
at least
the discoverer.
How about at least co-credit for historical contingency?
Well, you should make recognition.
Yes.
But there's difference between recognition
and ownership. Yes. Well, I guess what I was always trying to do is get recognition because that's just fair,
One would like it.
Yes.
But if the employer says, "We're General Electric. Look what we invented."
Yeah.
Can't really argue about it, and they're trying to spotlight their company, maybe to grow their company or whatever. You can't even argue with it.
But at the same time,
that is their choice.
Who are all the nameless?
Their product.
Who are all the nameless actual inventors?
Well, it's a group effort, most likely.
But see, my point is that those should be the people that we should truly be paying attention to, not the people who amassed the wealth to do it, but the people who were able to do it. Wealth, resource, regardless, you need the knowledge, and those people, we need them reproducing. We need them feeding the human population, not disappearing into the nothingness of history. Like that's what we need. Like even Joe Rogan. Like 1 second. Joe Rogan. Come on. Joe Rogan. Light bulb. Let's see if I can find it here. Stand up. It's one of his bits or something. The Evolution of Stupid People. Yeah. I often refer to this bit quite a lot. So, but like. Somewhere in here, he's just like, is anybody checking on them? And, are they okay? Are they breeding? Like...
No idea how they made those things. They take what we believe they use levers, but this is all you need to know.
I don't know exactly where it is.
Anyways, one last point on this for me.
Yeah.
I've kind of lost the point now. The point being, say you're the employer.
Yeah.
And someone under your employment, or a group of them under your employment, made this fantastic discovery. Let's call it the light bulb for hee-haws.
Yeah.
Okay, now, you have just spent $100,000 on research and development on this thing, and you've got it.
I think we've already solved all this, because I'm already on your side. All I'm looking for is credit to the actual, not necessarily
that's
ownership.
my point. Okay.
I just want the credit to be known for historical value.
So the company now has spent all this money, now they got this thing.
Yeah.
Now they want to promote it. Are they going to promote it as an Edison product, or are they going to promote it as whatever their company's name is product, so they can promote it, make money off it, distribute it, and so forth and so on?
Well, that I don't care at that right? Like whatever.
You're not giving credit because you're trying to now.
Well, historically,
monetize
if you wrote it down. If it's in the documents who actually made the breakthrough, that's all I want.
Okay.
I'm not trying to have them credited in the sale. I don't give a tiddler's damn about if they're talked about in the sale, in the acquisition, and this, that, whatever. I just want them historically to be remembered. That's it. Because that's only right.
Yeah. I don't argue
because they're
that
the
at all.
ones who did it. I don't care about who funded it. Anybody can fund it. Only those people made the breakthrough.
They don't discover it.
Without them, it doesn't matter who funds anything. They're the ones who made it. It's a symbiotic relationship. both sides need credit, and only one side's getting, and that's the money. You know, that's the bullshit I'm talking about.
Well, okay. But it is the owner's choice of what they do with it.
That's just not right. Like, it should, I don't want to make a law. We don't need to make a law.
No,
It should be a cultural. See, we don't need laws. People need to be self-accountable. All this stuff about government laws, everything, literally everything about the government is just an individual responsibility surrendered to a larger entity, so we can better navigate our lives with less stress of discipline. But we need a lot more self-reliance.
Now, let me just say this. Edison maybe is a good example. My understanding, and I could be 100% wrong, but my understanding, he was kind of an ass.
Oh,
and he wanted the spotlight on him. So there you go.
You want to know what Edison did? Like one of the worst things he's ever done?
I don't want to go into an Edison thing.
Okay.
But I'm saying, so there you go. You have an example that, he's taken all the spotlight on an invention, and maybe it was a whole set of colleagues that worked on it under his employment.
Okay, cool. I want their names on a document somewhere so I know who did it.
Okay.
Edison funded it. All right, great, cool. Who cares? Westinghouse could have funded it. J.P. Morgan could have funded it. Charles Bush could have funded it. I don't care. Anybody could fund it. Money is fleeting, but intelligence is not.
Well, it's just not the funding. You have set up the
that's not my
framework to
point.
bring people in to work on this.
Anybody can do that with enough resources.
With enough resources.
Yes.
There you go.
But not everybody can invent something.
That's right.
With resources or with not. It's your God gift.
The employer is in hiring those qualified people to come in here and come up with this.
Yes, and they deserve to at least be on the record as the ones who did the breakthrough.
Fine. Yeah, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
Anyway, we have time for at least one more topic before we hit our half hour. I guess we can leave this other one for next time. AO's car theories, electric cars, junkyard burning, this is a whole thing that's been going on recently, and there's so much levels, there's so much, tentacles that go out involving all this, but, there's all this electric car stuff, AI getting into these vehicles, mass surveillance. I can start getting into flock cameras and how they wirelessly talk with the cars and everything. That's one of the tentacles. But then also there's all these laws, being made about this, that, and the other. Like every car has to have some kind of kill switch or some kind of this or some kind of that. So there's all those mandates and everything. Now, a long time ago, there was this Cash for Clunkers, which I believe it was a whole conspiracy to get rid of third-party, markets and all that stuff, really reduce the ability of the U.S. people to rely in amongst themselves. Now we're in a world where we're pretty much, slaves to the corporations, like, Mazda, Jeep, Chrysler, Mitsubishi, whatever. We're slaves to, the big, the dollar stores, or what are they called?
Chain stores.
The chain stores or whatever. There's a term. It's not in my. I can't seem to manifest it. Or these dealerships.
Yeah.
Essentially,
Yeah.
Now we are at
multi-brand dealerships.
Yeah, and there's. I told you about this the other day, but this is happening all over the place. But a more recent example was this guy who $75,000. I think it was a Jeep Grand Cherokee or something, whatever. So brand new. He only had 3,000 miles on it or something. But it's brand new, so it has this AI stuff, and behind the behind the steering wheel on the dash or something, there's this. The AI's eyes, there's a camera,
Okay.
So if you're you're driving 10 and 2 and you're looking ahead, if you do this, just to look over, it starts slowing down because you're not looking ahead. If you move your hands down, you're starting to relax, it slows down because you're not at 10 and 2. It's deciding for you how you should drive. And it's forcing you to drive that way because then, now what happened to this guy, I don't know exactly what he did, but it stopped him in the middle of the freeway, not the highway, not the freeway, 65, 70 plus miles per hour, cars going around him, and he's at a dead stop. What happens if somebody hits him behind? Now he's dead because the AI deemed him.
People that run into him are dead.
Yes.
You're putting lives in danger.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because
that's why they can't. It needs
to stop.
Be done. It can't be done.
No.
I don't know where you're coming up with that, but who's ever doing that, you are in such a huge vulnerability for a giant ass lawsuit.
Not if the customer signs it away.
You can't stop somebody and put them in jeopardy.
If they,
I don't care what they sign.
If they sign it away, if they don't see, because remember now, let me bring this up to Disney. Okay, and I talked with you about this the other day, but I just want to bring this up. There was this couple who had planned to spend their anniversary or whatever it was that they were doing at some restaurant in the Disneyland property. Now, it wasn't owned by Disney, but it was in Disneyland proper, in the park.
Okay.
A third party in the park.
Okay.
Now, they had made arrangements and everything, and the wife was, like, allergic to shellfish or whatever, so, like, when, they called ahead a month before, like, when they were making their
Reservation?
Thank you, reservation, all that stuff. Please do not include any shellfish, no shrimp, no mussels, no this, no that, in my dish, yada yada. When they left, to take the plane or whatever it is, or like a couple days before, they called, double checked, made sure, please do not include yada yada. When they came in and sat down, once again, please do not include yada yada. And they included yada yada. She had a very bad reaction and died, I think, on the spot or later on. She died.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, they're trying to sue they weren't trying to sue Disney, actually. They're trying to sue that restaurant. Now, because that restaurant sits on Disney property, it is covered by Disney's legal umbrella somehow. And because years ago they had signed up for a trial of Disney Plus, which they didn't continue the subscription. They just did the 1 month long trial or whatever it was, and then that was that. But when they signed up for the trial, they exempted themselves from any Disney anything lawsuit eligibility. And that includes, what Disney's trying to do, and I'm not even sure if the case is still going on or not, but what Disney's argument is that even though that restaurant is not their property, it is on their property, therefore covered and exempt. So, like, their negligence, like, Disney's basically promoting being negligent and not valuing human, and I think he only wanted $50,000. He was only suing for $50,000, not even million, $50,000. And
they your wife's life? Holy cow!
Well, I don't know. Like, maybe it might have been $5 million, but it wasn't that much. Like, it wasn't like 500 million or something crazy like all these ones are. It wasn't a big sensationalized number. But Disney values human life so little that they went out of their way to cover something that could have easily dealt the lawsuit on their own. They just wanted to make sure someone died for no reason. Well, and now with all that said, all these corporations are all doing stuff. Samsung smart fridges are coming out with subscriptions for your ice machine. Okay. You're already paying for the mechanics. It's there, but now you have to pay more for it to run. So going back to all this car stuff, like, yeah, they can probably legally get away with these cars stopping suddenly with the AI determining you being unfit to drive and then killing people behind you because you bought the car and you signed it away. Like, they are no longer liable, but the people's families, can come after you, but they can't go after, the AI or anything like that. I'm
telling you for certainty right now that no way, no how, I don't care who signed what umbrella you're under, whatever it is, you cannot stop someone's vehicle or whatever it is and which will put people's lives in jeopardy. You will be liable and totally responsible. So
I don't know.
Just can't really now.
I agree with you, but I don't think legally.
Put it in the garage and kill it, and you can't start it when you come out, or it's the driveway, whatever it is. But you're not going to be able to put a kill switch.
That reminds me. There's a video
freeway.
Of some guy. He missed his payment on his Cybertruck, and it drove itself back to the Tesla. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. They're doing that.
Geez.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
I hate technology.
Yeah, I do too. Now I want to get to the actual point, because here you see all these cars on fire.
Yeah.
Because now all of a sudden, with all this smart cars, smart technology, and all the laws, and everything, and all the stuff that's happening, all of a sudden now, and this has happened at least a dozen, if not more times, across the entire country, but junkyards, specifically car junkyards, they're catching fire. Like, within a 1 week span, like 3, 4, 5, I think, junkyards, like almost 1 or 2 a day, catching fire. and it's all automobiles. So that way, when when we need to repair or replace a part on one of our current cars, like
Yeah,
ours,
you can't go to the junkyard.
we have no option, but we're forced to buy these smart cars. And then, this is a point I wanted to make earlier and all that stuff. Like, it doesn't matter what's legal, what's illegal, all that stuff, yada yada. If all this stuff, especially these corporations, they can just get a slap on the wrist. They can pay, fines. They can get bailed out by taxpayer dollars. So they really don't care what happens. Like, they literally have no skin in the game. They are above the law, carte blanche, according to the law. And how everything is
junkyards
act.
care.
Well, no, not
That's
the
their
junkyards.
product out there.
The
Yeah,
junk.
I know.
I'm not talking about the junkyards.
I
I'm
know.
talking about the automobile
I know.
manufacturers and everything. What the psychological attempt of this is that if a lot of people have all these smart cars, whether or not they want to is irrelevant. This is getting forced on us. And if these are stopping left, right, and center on the freeways and causing accidents, soon a lot of people are going to stop using cars entirely, and that makes us easier to control. The 15-minute cities, we reduce our capabilities of traveling, and we're easier to control. The bubble is closing. You will live in the pod, you will have nothing, and you will be happy. You will eat the bugs.
Except the car dealers are not going to do something to
Yeah.
reduce car sales.
Yeah, they will.
That's the worst thing they want to do.
Yeah,
They're
will.
in the car business.
No, Dad, it's not about that. Like, this is the end game. It's not about making money anymore. This is world domination, total end level event here. There is no more free trade. There's no more flow of money. This is it. They're the elites. We're the peasants, and they're clamping. This is it. It's no longer about sales. It's no longer about they want the money. No, they don't care. It's about power. All the people are all in the positions that they need to be, and it doesn't matter what sells or what doesn't. It all matters about reducing our ability to travel, reducing our ability to spend, reducing our everything, and then now we are in total, indoctrinated servitude. That's the point. This is in game here.
Now, perhaps you're talking about some boogeyman up there on, I forget what they're called, when they're...
It's not one guy or whatever.
No, of course not. I'm saying boogeyman to the point being up there, whatever that is.
The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers,
whatever.
The New World Order, the World Economic Forum, the Bilderbergs, the frigging, the Illuminati, whatever.
Anyways,
There's a million more names out there.
Let me finish my point. There's a certain level up there worldwide that is looking at the worldwide and saying we want a new world order.
Yes.
That level, perhaps, you can put your attitude toward.
All the leaders.
Then you come down to the next one, the giant corporations that are building cars or computers or whatever.
Yeah, they're all useful idiots.
They're here to make money and to keep their companies going, keep them in power. So we're talking about different levels here, but
I'm talking about the ultimate level. The people, the CEO of Mazda, he's a peon. He's no higher than us in the grand scheme of things.
Except you need him on board, or it won't work.
Or you threaten his family. You threaten his lineage.
Whatever you do to get him on board.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you've gotten him on board. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you put a gun to his head. He's either on board or you find somebody who is, and you'll just replace him. This is deep. So anyway, let's wrap us up here.
Okay.
Unless you want to talk about that other topic, but we've covered everything.
I think we're about 30 minutes.
We didn't cover this IBEX, but we'll do that next show.
Now?
That was the clones thing I wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah. Don't save that one.
Yeah, we'll do that next time.
Yeah.
So, anyway, where'd the script go? That's not it. Here, hold on a second. That's not either. Where is it? That's not. Is there a script? I don't even think that there's a script.
No,
there is not a script.
I don't think there is.
No, there's not even for a anyway, well, that'll be it for I'm okay, you're okay. For all of you and all of us, I'm Alexander.
Golden Loon.
And you're you. What's a code word we should do? Let us know in the comments.
Bobsy Twins.
Bobsy Twins in the comment section. Let us know you're still watching up until this point. Anyway, we do this show every first Sunday of the month.
Yeah.
Sometimes the second Sunday, whatever, but it is a Sunday. It'll happen.
First Sunday of the month.
Yeah, at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And until you catch us next time, we do have other shows in an hour and 20 minutes here. We have a we have a history show
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So yeah, until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!